everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jill from The Thoughtful Leader, and today's video is all about perfectionism. Now, perfectionism is something that introverts tend to suffer with quite a lot, and the reason for that is because we are massive overthinkers and we tend to worry about what other people think of us. So please do watch this video to the end, because I am going to be covering several of the main causes of perfectionism, but also some tips that you can use to help you combat that perfectionism, which will enable you to take action much quicker, enabling you to get quicker towards your goals, or to get to your goals much quicker than what you would do before. So perfectionism is that need to be, or to appear to be, perfect. And what we tend to do is to set unrealistically high expectations for ourselves, which means that we just are unable to reach those goals. And therefore, it leaves us feeling quite down, unhappy, which could effectively lead to stress, anxiety, and eventually depression. So what we want is we don't want to end up in that situation. We want to be proud of our achievements, but also that perfectionism tends to slow us down. It stops us in our tracks, and it stops us from taking action as we overthink things too much. So some of the main causes of perfectionism, one of which is that fear of judgment from other people. So we are quite concerned about how people think about us, or what they might be saying about us, and therefore we feel in ourselves that we need to do everything perfect straight away, because if we get something wrong, we're concerned about what someone would say about the fact that we've got something wrong. Another one would be those kind of early childhood experiences. So you may have a parent who had unrealistically high standards and would expect you to get, excellent results first time. And so because you've grown up with, that expectation on you, it has gone into your adult life as well, and you feel like you can never make a mistake. Another one might be poor self-esteem. So what you might be doing is tying your self-worth to your outcomes or your achievements. And when you don't quite meet those achievements, it makes you feel bad about yourself. Another one might be, again, those feelings of inadequacy. So again, because you're not reaching those high standards that you've set for yourself, you feel quite inadequate. You feel like you're not capable of reaching those expectations that you have, and it leaves you feeling quite low about yourself. So one of the ways that this has affected me over the years is that real fear of failure and fear of judgment from other people. So I would set myself those unrealistic goals and beat myself up because I didn't complete those in the timescale that I'd given myself. I would not want to get things wrong. And this would tend to really slow me down, because I'd massively overthink things, and I'd get that analysis paralysis. So I wouldn't take action on something until things were perfect, but obviously nothing is ever going to be perfect. So what would happen is I would overthink things. It would take me longer to get started, and so effectively then I basically would be putting myself under a lot of pressure to complete something by a certain time. Now, don't get me wrong, perfectionism is something that, whilst I would say I'm a recovering perfectionist, it is still something that can affect me, and it is something that I need to work on every day. So some of those tips that might help you to overcome that perfectionism is to really try to talk to yourself more positively. Rather than being negative about what you didn't complete, how about looking at what you have accomplished, being positive about that, and knowing that you can achieve your goals, and that you have evidence of where you've done that in the past, and to think about that evidence. So again, don't just look at the negatives. Don't just look at what you didn't achieve. Look at all the things that you have done rather than just the negative. So another tip would be not comparing yourself to others. This is the main cause of stress and anxiety. When you compare yourself to somebody else, you don't see all of the effort that they have put in to get to the point that they're at. They've had different experiences to you. So the only person that you should be comparing yourself is to where you were a week, a month, a year ago, because you are on your own journey, you do things slightly differently. And if you are comparing yourself to somebody else, they could be an extrovert, for example, and they have very different skills and very different qualities to an introvert. And if you try to emulate the way that an extrovert leads or does their work, you will just leave yourself feeling very overwhelmed, very exhausted, and at the end of the day, you will be completely burnt out. Now, my next tip would be really challenging any negative thoughts that come up for you. So really think about, okay, where's the evidence that supports that thought? Or actually, where is the evidence that refutes it completely and throws it out the water? So, where have you been successful in doing this piece of work in the past, or reaching a certain goal? So really dig down into those thoughts that you're having and really question them to make sure that are they true or are they actually not true at all, and it's just a story that you're telling yourself. Another tip would be mindfulness. So really staying in the present. Whatever's happened to you in the past does not define who you are now. So really focus on the here and now and what you can do to bring yourself forward towards your goal. My next tip would be to praise your efforts and not your outcomes. So by praising your effort, it doesn't really matter what that outcome is, because it's about the hard work that you put into something rather than the end result. If you've done your best and you've worked your hardest, it doesn't matter what the end result is, because you're happy with the effort and the work that you've put in. If you only focus on that end result, then you're not going to enjoy the process of getting to that stage. But also, if you then haven't met that particular goal, you're going to feel very negative about yourself, which is just going to leave you feeling quite stressed and anxious, and may then lead to that depression. And then my last tip is to just be kind and compassionate to yourself. Your self-talk can be quite negative, and if it is, what you need to do is change that language. How would you speak to your best friend? And that's where you should really be coming from, rather than that negativity. It's about, well, if my best friend was in this situation and was saying this to themselves, what would I say to them? So really speak to yourself with kindness and have that positive self-talk. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Only compare yourself to where you have come from, and really challenge any of those negative thoughts that you're having, and try to just stay in the here and now rather than living in the past or living in the future. So thank you very much for listening. If you've enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe to my channel, because I will be adding more videos on each fortnight. And thank you very much, and I hope you have a good day.